and welcome to our first in-season edition of the Club 303 podcast. Taking a little bit longer than expected. We all have lives. Don't you wish you had lives like us? But we're finally here with it. You can see Pat drinking a little bit of wine. That tells you the kind of life he has. And he's having a good one.
Wednesday.
Good one lately, being a Cubs fan over there. They are at the top of the NL Central, as we will just get right on into it. We'll talk first about the NL Central and mostly probably about the Cubs and Cardinals first, just under a month of the season. Cubs are looking good. They did lose today, though.
They did lose today, but it was against a pretty good San Diego Padres team. I thought we could maybe pull that one out, but matched up pretty well with them the day before, won in extras. So I'm pretty happy overall about the series. Series before kind of went belt to ass in LA. Showed out pretty good, I thought.
Hell yeah, man.
Baseball. Yes, sir. On Sunday Night Baseball, got the win 4-2. We were all on a call, just kind of watching the game, talking. PCA had 2 bombs. Sorry, Machine. Machine's a all-time hater of Pete Crow Armstrong. But he's just been proving him wrong. So we took 2 out of 3 in LA. Right now, the Cubs are looking good. 12-9 record. Atop of the NL Central, which isn't hard to do in all honesty. However, going into some PCA stats, he's hitting 259. Like I said, though, he has been really big in these last couple of series against 2 really good teams, with the Dodgers as well as the Padres. And then in his last 15 games, he's hitting 322 with a 365 on-base percentage and a win above replacement of just about 1. So, Machine, what do you think about PCA?
He's still ugly. He still needs to do it for longer than a 3-game stretch. I don't really care.
Machine is just
I think they played more than 3 games.
Huh? Yeah, and he was atrocious at the plate in all but the last 3 games. So do it for longer, and we'll see. We'll talk. Maybe. Probably not. I'm a Hall of Fame hater.
I just brought the stats of the last 15 games where he's hitting over 300, so...
I don't know.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah, what's going on there? Slight miscalculation.
Numbers do lie.
Cubs are winning baseball games.
They are.
With him in the lineup.
Yeah, so are the Cardinals with Victor Scott, who's faster.
Let's see, me and Machine were watching the Cubs game earlier today, and once I hopped on the call with him and saw PCA walking up to the plate, I was like, he's going to go yard here, just because whenever any of us are around Machine, PCA is torturing this man. I honestly feel like it's going to continue the rest of the season.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see.
I don't know. I'm really high on the Cubs, though, right now. I thought that vibes would be a little bit lower after Steele was announced to be out for the rest of the season with his elbow. Still not sure if he'll get Tommy John or if it's just some sort of repairment there. But I think Shota's been stepping up really good for the Cubs. And honestly, even if Steele was still in the rotation, I think that Shota would be the ace this year. Looking at his ERA right now, he's got a 2.22 ERA and a 176 batting average again. So I just think this guy's been electric and think he might be a candidate for Cy Young at the end of the year.
Well, I was going to say, I think, we Pat touched on a lot of it there. You have Cal Tucker is pushing for MVP. PCA recently, to Machine's dismay, has shown his capabilities. And again, I think this NL Central division, you've had the Pirates, I think, are slacking behind. The Pirates are going to kind of fall off and have kind of shown who they probably are going to be this season. And then it's just it's a short sample size, but we've kind of seen the Cubs are clearly the cream of the crop of this division, and just going to, I think, probably run away with this division. When we get to August and everything like that, they're probably just gonna run away with it, to be honest, in my opinion, because guys like Kyle Tucker and just the rotation with Imanaga at the front. I just don't see the Brewers or Cardinals really pushing for that spot, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, even as a Cardinals fan, I think I agree with that because I think the Cardinals are still probably going to sell at the deadline. The biggest question mark for the Cubs at this point isn't whether you can win the NL Central, because who really gives a damn if you can win the NL Central? It's about what you can do in the postseason. And the biggest question mark is the pitching. Shota's an ace, no doubt about it. And the rotation in general is good. Like, Ben Brown's been pretty good recently. It's just the bullpen and how that holds up. It's obviously too early to tell, but that's going to be the biggest question mark moving forward for the Cubs.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the preseason too. Like, I think that was their Achilles heel last year was the bullpen, and so far it's held up. But in a 162 game season, that's may or may not be the case. But I don't know. So far, so good. I think this offense has been on a roll to where, like, if they have a good enough lead, hopefully the bullpen doesn't blow, say, a 3 to 5 run lead late in the game.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like while it is like a short sample size with the Cubs, there is the fact that, like, again, they played the Dodgers and the Padres, the two hottest teams. Like, the Dodgers are clearly going to be the elite team in baseball when everything is said and done. We are entering the postseason. The Dodgers are gonna be there. Then you have the Padres, who are red hot right now. To where, like, while it's a short sample size, like, again, the Cubs have very much been tested, I think, so far, and, like, they've shown, like, their capabilities. To where I think, like, again, we kind of can see that the Cubs are going to be a pretty good team this year. Is what I'm seeing, at least.
Especially after these last two series, it's really given me confidence that we could do something special in October.
Exactly.
So,
Moving on.
and then I would talk a little bit more about Kyle Tucker, but maybe a little spoiler alert. I'll talk about him a little bit later.
Got that to look forward to. Moving on to...
Future Yankee Kyle Tucker.
Stop it. Let's not start that. It's too early in the season for that shit.
He is a good clubhouse guy, though.
They love
Exactly.
Fucking, if that's the case, we'll pass.
Moving on in the NL Central to my favorite team, the St. Louis Cardinals. Shocker, they're exactly average. They're at 500, 9-9. They're good at home. They're only 1-5 on the road. They had a real stinker of a series in Boston, one that makes you want to, like, just die a little bit inside. But other than that, they've actually been pretty good this year. The offense is good. The starting pitching has been okay outside of a guy I'll talk about later on. And the bullpen sucks. So, shocker, you got a bunch of guys that have either pitched an indie ball in the past or will be pitching an indie ball in the future. Not exactly a great recipe for success out of the bullpen. But the offense is good, and that's really what I care about. The young guys. Victor Scott, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Ivan Herrera. They're all having good seasons so far. That's all I care about.
Well, I was going to say, like, I kind of brushed over them when I talked about, like, why I think the Cubs are going to run with this division. Again, the Cardinals, I think, are truly operating on, like, the best case scenario right now of Arenado has looked pretty good. You've seen guys like Brent Donovan's red hot. You have Jordan Walker looks pretty decent, I would say. And then, like, guys like young guys like Victor Scott have figured it out. Lars Nootbaar so far looking pretty good. And then, like, on the mound, it's like these young guys like Palante have looked like they're making that next step. To where, and, like, even Mason Wynn, honestly, after a terrible start to the season has kind of, like, pulled it out and, like, kind of, like, looking at his game more to, like how he's getting to, like last year he had a pretty good year and, like, it was a bad start to the year, but I think he's getting back to where he was.
Well, he started like 0 for 19, and then since then, I'll pull it up real quick. I'm pretty positive it was an 0 for 19 start, and on the season right now he is 10 for 45. So you do the math, like, he went on a heater after that, like, horrific start. Then he get hurt. He's on the IL, so we'll see how he comes back.
Let's see. I don't remember the exact stat off the top of my head, but I think Mason Wynn, it was probably after, like, 10 games, roughly. Again, just kind of go off the top of my head. I think he had a end zone, like, whiff percentage of, like, 60%. And at that point in the season, I think this is probably about 10 games in, where it was him and Rafael Devers were, like, the only people who had, like, an end zone with percentage like that bad, like above 50%. And it is good that like Mason Wentz seems like he's kind of like corrected himself. He's back to like again what he usually is, which like again Mason Wentz isn't gonna be an MVP caliber player, but he's a good shortstop. And again, I think the Cardinals have a decent shot to be. I think they're gonna be third place in this division, like so far at least, and like that's something to be ashamed of. I think with how the Cardinals were looking like going into this season.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like going into this season, we were a little bit hesitant about what the Cardinals would be, but so far, like, the rotation has kind of proved me wrong in a sense. Like, I think that they've been keeping their head above water, and then looking at the offense, the surprising stat that I found today: the Cardinals. Sorry, the Cardinals are third in OPS in all of the MLB right now, and they're at 783, third behind Arizona Diamondbacks, which are 803, and then Stokes' Yankees at 828. So surprisingly, this offense is producing more than what the record is kind of showing.
Yeah, well, bullpen blowing games will do that to you.
Yeah, that too.
We can move on a little bit here and move over to the NL West, which has been already just as much of a slugfest as I feel like we all kind of predicted. I mean, you look at, like you just mentioned, the Arizona Diamondbacks have the best OPS by team in baseball, and they've got 11 wins. That's good for fourth in the division technically right now. Like,
Yeah.
everything we thought it would be, that's what it's been in the NL West. It's been crazy.
I'll say I guess we'll start from bottom to top because like I mean you can talk about the Dodgers and whoever, but like I'll talk about the D-backs real quick. The main thing is that Corbin Carroll, who after a horrendous start to last year, where it was the alarms are going off, people thought Corbin Carroll was like gonna flop and just be a bad player. Like he has turned around. He's batting .329 right now, average wise. He has a like 1108 OPS right now. Like Corbin Carroll is doing great. Pavin Smith, who has been with the D-backs forever, I think was a first-round pick back in 2017, if I remember correctly, has just been crushing the baseball. He's batting third for the team right now. Josh Naylor, who obviously was their big addition this offseason, along with Corbin Burns, who I'll probably get to in a second. Like, the D-backs are going to hit the baseball. They play in a hitter-friendly ballpark and environment, and they have a rotation that will, like, as we go along, I think it's going to play really well. So I trust guys like Merrill Kelly. I trust guys like Zach Gallen and Corbin Burns. And then, like, you have guys like an Erod and Brandon Pfaadt. Like, these guys are going to produce. Like, the Diamondbacks are a legitimately dangerous team. It's almost, like, undershadowed early on in the season just because everyone else in the NL West is going insane. Whether it be the Giants, who, I mean, I'm a Mariners fan. We got absolutely destroyed by them in a weekend series in their home opener. To like they're red hot.
Yeah, it's funny, like, going from talking about the NL Central to the NL West, because the NL West is just stacked. Like, if the Diamondbacks were in the Central, they'd only be a game behind the Cubs. And you talk about how, their run, if you look at their run differential, they're at plus 20 right now. And that's really good. Like, at this early in the season, how many games are they in? They've only played 18 games so far. Like, that's really decent. Yeah.
Let's see. Like, it feels like, again, the D-backs are like almost like in the mainstream baseball media. Like, you only hear about Pavin Smith because it's kind of like the fun, like, out of nowhere story. But it is like this team is just like it's playing really well, and like even Eugenio Suarez like was red hot out of the gates, crushing home runs. He carried them through that Yankees series where he crushed Austin's dreams multiple times, sadly, throughout that series. Like, he's cooled off a little bit.
Good, my parlay.
Exactly. But, like, the D-backs have kind of, like, again, are just kind of, like, under the radar right now on how good they are honestly playing and looking, because, like, everyone else in their division, aside from the Rockies, which I don't know if we'll get to the Rockies because like
No.
why would we at this point? Like
3 and
now,
14 and 4. Yeah.
Like I had the Rockies game on right now live as we are recording. They are down 7-1 against the Dodgers.
A 5-game losing streak.
So
talking about run differential, they're negative 50 in run differential.
the Rockies are going to be bullied by this division.
The next lowest run differential, I'm just scrolling through these, negative 19 Pirates. The Rockies are at negative 50.
It's bad. Like they're going to get bullied. They're going to get bullied this year. It's partially the Rockies are so poorly managed, but like they are just going to get bullied by this division. Which like when we talk about the D-backs and how they're overperforming, or like they're performing very well, I should say. And then you have the Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants who are like the Rockies again. The Rockies are bad.
Solid team. Yeah.
But everyone else is performing very well. It'll be interesting with the Padres. Yeah, the Giants are red hot. Padres are red hot. Like it'll be interesting to see how the Padres go, considering like they didn't add a whole ton. And like me and Machine were watching their game today, and they still had like there are guys that are just doing things that are probably not sustainable in their lineup.
They had a do-up at one point. Like, do-up I saw Jason Hayward, Jose Iglesias, and Gavin Sheets. It's like, that's a three-piece part of the lineup for the best team in baseball by record right now, and that just can't be sustainable. There's just no way.
Well, and I think their ninth hitter was Wade. So it's
Tyler Wade, yeah.
Tyler Wade.
If you would have asked me, I would have said he was playing independent baseball at this point.
So again, like, but we can I don't know how it's gonna stack out a month from now, but this division is stacked, and it's probably gonna run the baseball world throughout the summer.
Talking about the Giants, shout out to Stokes here. He was the most bullish on them in the preseason, and I feel like I wasn't buying it, but holy shit.
Well, it's time that the Giants do something weird, and I think Slater said it when we recorded, but like it's just their, I don't know, it's their couple of years where they go on this unprecedented run. I still think they're going to live up to that expectation, and they certainly are to start the season off, so I'm holding true to that.
Wilmer Flores has 6 homers and 23 RBI already.
They're giving weird vibes. The Mariners played a weekend series there. They got swept. It was not even a series where the Mariners played bad. It was just a thing of like the Giants will not be denied right now. They are just constantly hitting doubles. They're executing in the right moments, and they truly just cannot be stopped, to be honest, right now. Again, will this like flame out in May, possibly, but also it could just be one of those like random Giants years where they just go on a run and just like carry this to like a 92 win season, which would make no sense somewhat, but
a lot of good things going on in the National League East as well. Atlanta off to a really, really bad start that none of us predicted. They're only 5-13 at this point. Mets have topped the division 11-7. Phillies right behind them, but they've been on kind of a skid. How about Miami and Washington? Honestly, have more wins than I thought they'd have at this point. Miami's 8-9, Washington 7-11. Not great, but honestly, I figured those two would be closer to the Rockies than they would be, ahead of the Braves.
Not to get ahead of our segment we're going to get into later, but I mean, look at who the Marlins are batting. Probably the key to their success right there.
Exactly. Like we'll get to our boy in 1 minute there, but it is the thing. Like the Marlins came out hot against the Pirates team that I think is sadly showing their true colors. Like in the Pirate, like. That's probably not like the Nationals again. They're showing the bright like Wood and Gore are showing the bright sides that like I showed like when our last episode, our season predictions episode, I talked about how like they're gonna be young and fun, but like this national team is not good. The shocking thing is the Braves, who cannot hit the baseball. And when we talked about them in our predictions episode, and we went through their lineup, especially again like Strider came back today, but they still lost 3-1 to a Blue Jays team we'll talk about in a little bit. But like to have this this offense struggle this much, and like again they're gonna get their best player back in Ronald Acuna, but there are like I think they'll bounce back. I think they're gonna compete for a playoff spot. I think they will get a playoff spot still, even though they're fucking 5-13. Like, there are major red flags that will not be solved by just Ronald Acuna coming back.
It's interesting, though, because they've played a shit ton of away games so far. 13 away games and 5 home games. I mean, they're 3-2 at home and 2-11 away. Pretty terrible away, but I just feel like they've had some bad luck early this year with some injuries here and there.
Yeah, I think even at a 5-13 start, I can't give up on the Braves yet. But with their track record, but it is certainly something that we got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, no doubt.
One thing too, like again, like I said, like I'm bullish. Like I truly I believe in the Braves. I think they're gonna like again when we get to August, I think this team is gonna be like very much in the conversation for like competing for the National League in the playoffs. But it's just like right now there are like major things. It's like, well, you've dug yourself this hole. You have these injury concerns. The offense is just like, I don't know what has happened to some of these major components of the offense, but it's just not working right now. And while it's early, like there's concerns. And then it's like, yeah, Acuna is coming back, but it's like how is he gonna look when he first comes back? I don't know if he's just gonna come in and immediately light everyone's hair on fire and just carry this lineup into getting hot when we get into like July.
I think a nice segue to the American League is a team that is not quite as bad as the Braves are, but another team that we have high expectations for as a whole, that has a star player that was hurt to start the year and has been struggling since he came back. I'm talking about the Baltimore Orioles. They're 7-10 right now. We knew the pitching wouldn't be an issue, but like Gunnar Henderson not hitting is not something we predicted.
Yeah, it's really crazy because I think a couple of us predicted, I think it was me and you, Machine, predicted that this team would be a World Series team. And I mean, it's too early in the season to count them out of that race, but I'd say so far out of all the teams, they've been the biggest disappointment for like what they've been projected to do thus far.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with Pat. Like they are, like for this early, like again, small sample size, the Orioles are the most concerning, even more than the Braves for me. A team I was very high on that I just talked about. The Orioles, Gunnar Henderson had that injury in spring training. I am concerned that they might have brought him back too fast, and he's just not acclimating, quick enough, and he just does not look comfortable yet. They had a big win today. Like Jackson Holiday had a big grand slam, and they look better. But then, again, it's like Zach Eflin is on, dealing with injuries on a rotation that's already just not up to the caliber of this lineup. And also, their saving grace is that the fact that it's AL East, I should say, is just not that. There's no one running with the division. The Yankees are 11-7, and they don't look dominating in that fashion. Towards listen, the Orioles, as bad as they look, just need to get healthy, and they do need to add onto the starting rotation. How they're going to do that, whether it be, when guys come back on, the health side, or just, guys figure it out, whether it be Dean Kramer or whoever. Like, the Royals just have to figure it out, because they have a lineup that's too good to be behind the Rays, who are just a, bad franchise at this point. Like, and the Royals will be okay, but there are major, major, major red flags, I think, so far.
No,
Stokes, it's your division. Take it away.
I think with the Orioles, the biggest thing to look out for right now is kind of like what you guys have been saying. Like, what does this team look like when they're healthy? I don't want to say that this is a trade deadline team for pitchers, because I really need the Yankees to be a trade deadline team for pitchers. But I definitely think that if this trend continues, and obviously, like we've said this all episode, it's early. It's really, really early to make any bold predictions. But there's a lot of people who did, like you guys, kind of speculate that this is a World Series contending team, but they have certainly not started to look anything like a World Series contending team. I think that they have so many holes to fix offensively and defensively that if this doesn't shape up in the next month or so, that they really need to start looking internally for the problems. And this could be a really dangerous landslide to get caught into, of how do we keep patching holes on this sinking ship. You're going to run out of duct tape one of these days. So, I think you can only try to dance around it and hope you win ball games by luck for so long.
Yeah.
We've talked about a couple of teams that are underperforming in the Braves and the Orioles. Another team in the AL East that I think we would all agree are overperforming right now are the Toronto Blue Jays right now, half game behind the Yankees at 11-8.
I was initially coming into the season kind of scared of what the Blue Jays could do, and it's early, and the schedules haven't really started to form just quite yet. But I think that the Blue Jays are off to a tear, and I think a lot of that has to do with Vladdy getting a pretty big extension and having a lot more fire under than usual. A bigger paycheck definitely makes me work harder. So I think that he's gonna be able to kind of really tear off for the team this year, and I'm not super worried about this team in the playoffs, because they've never really been a factor, and I don't see all the pieces there to be a playoff issue. They're starting off to look really hot, and I'm interested to see what kind of trouble they can give whoever ends up finishing first and second in this division, if they're not one of them.
Well, I was going to say, with the Blue Jays, it's very much like, I think a lot of it is unsustainable, whether it be Chris Bassett with I think his ERA is like .77 right now, after his great start today against the Braves. I don't think that's sustainable. He's not a guy that, I told people, when Chris Bassett, it comes to, July, will probably be up in, the 4s when it comes to ERA. He is going to, approach the mean, when so to say, when it comes to that. And there's things like, George Springer right now is batting .375. And even earlier on, he was batting, I think, .475 at one point, where he's just been absolutely red hot, and he's a guy that we know at this point, when he's on the field and he's healthy, can still do damage, but he is probably not going to sustain that through 162 games. Whether it be him, Bichette is hitting the ball well right now. He's a guy that, again, we don't know how this is going to play out. The Blue Jays brought back Vlad Jr., which was a huge thing for them, and it probably does allow Vlad Jr., like Austin said, to play more freely. But there's still a thing like Bo Bichette and all these other players, and this major core that the Blue Jays have been hyping up for so long are not under control. And while it is fun, it is good for baseball that this team is performing. And I honestly be surprised if we're in late May still talking about the Blue Jays in the same way we are talking about them right now.
Moving on to the leader in the AL East. It is the New York Yankees at 11-7. Not running away with it, but they're at the top.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the team for the most part to this point. On a 3-game win streak, looked really good against the Royals in a series that I thought was going to give us a lot more problems than it did. And I'm going to get into it when we talk about, stay hot and pack your bags, but a lot of the pieces are starting to fit, and some of the pieces are starting to make it pretty clear that they might not fit. Specifically on the pitching side of things, that has really been the slipperiest slope so far. There's one, maybe max 3 pitchers on the Yankees roster that I trust to go out and win a game or get outs or, get a save. I mean, there's really just not much room for error. On days when, Tim Hill and Will Warren aren't coming out of the bullpen, things are a little dicey when Jack Leiter, whatever. Anyway, whenever they're throwing whoever out there and it just doesn't matter anymore and, whole thing's just going to shit. I think offensively, and some pretty good upsides. The torpedo bats are really kind of paying off for the Yankees, or did early on put on a shitstorm on the Brewers, and then really kind of kept the steam rolling into the next couple of series. But yeah, I think it'll. I hope it continues. It's always good to see your team in first. A big margin like you see in some of the other divisions, but when your team's leading the division, you can't really complain that much. So I'm just happy to be where we are. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
There you go.
I like it.
I'll look at the Yankees real quick. I mean, you have Aaron Judge, who's doing Aaron Judge things. He's batting .409. He's crushing the baseball. Has 7 home runs, which is towards the top of the league in baseball. He's leading them in every offensive category possible. He's very much carrying this team. Paul Goldschmidt has been honestly, I would say, a bright spot. He looks like a. He's not gonna return to true MVP Goldschmidt form, but he looks like a very good baseball player so far, I would say, for the Yankees. But then after that, it's mainly like Volpe, I think, has shown some concerns after his hot start. I think he's a guy that the Yankees need to come on if they're going to continue to kind of lead the pack in this division. And whether it be Volpe, Jazz has been so up and down. I have no idea what's going on with Jazz right now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it be high on Jazz, low on Jazz, whether it be him, Bellinger. There's a lot of guys in this lineup. I don't.
With Jazz, it's just when I get really hot on him, or just when I'm done with Jazz, just when I'm all right, Jazz is washed or whatever. He hits like a 3-hit game with a home run and a double. I never know where to feel about him. He's great defensively. He's made some plays this season that are spectacular, and he looks fantastic. But at the plate, I just don't know what I'm going to get. Ever since he called baseball fans fucking idiots on I think it was the torpedo bat shit with Dave Portnoy, he just couldn't hit after that. I don't know if it was the weather they caught in Detroit. I don't know what it was. But after he called everybody a bunch of fucking idiots, he just couldn't hit the ball. And I hope he figures it out more consistently soon rather than later.
We should talk about the torpedo bats just briefly. What do you guys think about the torpedo bats? Is it legit, or
I think it's
is it too early to tell, or is it a fad?
I think it's placebo. I think at the end of the day, it's all about feel for hitters. They still have to make contact. They still have to square up the ball. If it feels better for you as a hitter, swing a torpedo bat. Cool.
Hey, what were those necklaces that guys used to wear back in the day? The fighting necklaces, man. It was the fighting necklaces. I hope it's not a fighting necklace. I hope it's not the trend that catches on this year, and then everybody's well, actually, we really didn't do shit. Surprisingly, Giancarlo used a torpedo bat in the playoffs a little bit last year, and a lot of people are maybe speculating that's why he fucked his elbows with it. But obviously, the jury's still out on that. I don't know. It's not it's not a Barry Bonds effect, but whatever. I don't know. Fuck it. If they're gonna hit more home runs, they're gonna hit more home runs. Let them do it. They've been fixing baseball for pitchers in the MLB, admittedly, for a little bit now. So it is nice to see hitters get some love, some more some '90s home runs type games again.
So yeah, I'll probably touch on torpedo bats more in my segment later on. Spoil that a little bit. But I think overall, again, like, from like playing baseball and stuff like that, there's been so many things with hitters of like certain bats and certain, things that can help you. Like, the main thing I remember as, like, back when I was in college, like, this is probably in 2018, was the axe handle bat. That the idea, like, I think George Springer used it and Mookie Betts used it at the time. I don't know if they still use it, but the whole idea was like you had a handle that was an axe handle, and it was like you swing a certain way, and they could front load the bat because they knew you were going to hit the baseball with this one side of the bat. And the whole idea was like, oh, this bat might be the best, like, because you can just load up one side of it versus like, kind of the standard bat. And I think that's kind of the same thing now. Again, at the end of the day, baseball's hard. You still have to hit the baseball. You have to hit it in the right spot, which is very hard to do with the current pitchers we have nowadays. Like, to where torpedo bats might help a little bit for some players, but overall, I think it's just like Machine said, just placebo.
Yeah, I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people about it that don't necessarily know baseball, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think about the torpedo bats?" And the thing I've been telling them, I was like, it's just not a big enough sample size. There's not enough data to support if this is actually doing anything. And like you guys have been saying, like, as a hitter, you just want something that feels good in your hands. And so, like, the torpedo bat, I'm thinking it's probably a fad. However, if it's not, like, if it's actually has an effect on hitters, and I guess the data will come and present itself later this season. If it is, I mean, good for the MLB. Commissioner probably wants that. I mean, he's trying to up the offense as much as possible. And like you said, Stokes, in recent years, it's just become a pitcher dominant sport. And so if anything, torpedo bats are good for the MLB.
We'll move on here quickly to the AL Central, which is shaking out about how we thought it would. I would say Kansas City's struggling a little bit at 8-11. They're in third place, but the idea is it's Detroit, Cleveland, and Kansas City all around in the same spot relatively. The Twins had a really rough start to the year. The White Sox are the White Sox, but at least they can say they have one more win than the Rockies at this point.
Their run differential is only 12 compared to 50. Negative 12 compared to negative 50 with the Rockies.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah. So.
I was saying, the AL Central is just like, I think the Tigers are going to run away with this division, along with, I think the Royals will catch up somewhat, but I think this is the Tigers division, I will say.
Yeah, I think it is going to come down to Detroit and Kansas City. I don't know that Cleveland's going to stick around. Kansas City, it just depends. They're off to a slow start. They're just inconsistent right now. That's kind of the
and Clase has some red flags too. Like there's some.
He's no Ryan.
There's some things he needs to figure out. Yeah.
Anybody else got thoughts on the AL Central? Maybe the most boring division in baseball.
I was gonna say they.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, there's. I don't know. There's only one team above.
The bullpen looks
right
nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't pay attention to these teams. I mean, I'd say the AL Central's a division that I pay the least amount of attention to, and so far this year they're not giving me a ton to be excited about. So.
Now, a division that is fairly exciting to start off is the AL West. Texas at top at 11-7. Angels surprising some people, although they're starting to go on a bit of a skid here. They've lost 3 in a row. And then Seattle 9-9, right through the middle. Houston 8-10, just dropped to my Cardinals. You're welcome for that, Slater. And even the Athletics are also 8-10. So this is still everybody's within 3 games of each other out there in the AL West.
As a fan of one of these teams, what I will say is if anyone who is a fan of a team in this division that says they know what their team is going to look like a month from now is lying to your face. This division is chaos. Nothing makes any sense. Even, again, the Astros, who've been like the form of consistency for years now, they, like, no idea what this team's going to look like a month from now. Again, the Rangers, again, are leading this division at 11-7, but they just got swept by the Mariners, here in Seattle. The Mariners, like, I'll say, kind of just spanked them around, and, like, the Mariners beat the Astros in a series that was very up and down. The Astros just lost the series to the Cardinals. The Angels are the Angels. I don't want to hear it. They're going to finish with 75 wins. That's where they're going to be. I don't want to hear anything else. They're going to be at 75 wins, and then the A's at 7. Like, the A's are going to be better than expected. They're going to finish 75 wins, and that's going to be it for the division. To where it's mainly, again, it's the Rangers, the Astros, and the Mariners. They're playing how you'd almost expect them to. You have no idea what is going to happen in this division. That's how I view it. The Mariners are coming on strong, I will say. They had a rough start, especially after a bad series against a Red Hot Giants team. After a sweep against the Rangers, played well today, won the game today. I'm feeling good about the Mariners, but overall this division is going to be chaos, is all I can say.
Yeah, my notes about the AL West is that it's the Wild Wild West. Like you said, Mariners kind of had a tough start to the season. If they played a little bit better early, I think no doubt they'd be atop of the AL West right now.
Yeah, the Astros were concerning to me after just seeing them coming to town, but as in, like, I don't know. They could have a fall off this year. They've been so consistent for so many years, but this year, I don't know. I think at the end of the year, this could come down to Texas and Seattle and which team could be more consistent, because so far they've had similar starts to the season where it's like they'll get swept, then they'll sweep a team. Like, they've been inconsistent. They're two teams that are kind of built on pitching, or really, I guess it's the opposite. So, like, the Mariners are built on pitching, but then lost a game 6-4 yesterday, I think it was. The Rangers are supposed to be, on paper, they're built on hitting, but they've had to rely on, like, guys like Jack Leiter, who I'll talk about later, having really good starts, as well as Nathan Eovaldi. So it really just depends on which of these teams ends up more consistent by the end of the year, I think.
No, like, again, like I said, like, that's the thing. It's chaotic division. I think the Mariners are going to put together. I think the offense is looking a lot better recently. Again, they've gotten their hands on the torpedo bats at this point. It's not just the Yankees anymore. I think the Mariners are coming out strong. I feel good, is what I should say. Going
How
into
many games have you gone to this year?
I have gone to, I think, 5. Off the top of my head. I think I've gone to 5 Mariners games so far. Like, regular season games.
Yeah.
Went to good amount of spring training games, but...
Is the environment there any different than in years past?
I would say the environment right now is, from the fan perspective, is there's a lot of people who are very much wait and see. They are frustrated with the team that is not spending, which is, a lot of teams in baseball, to where it is very much wait and see. What I will say is that people, as of right now, from what I see, are happier that the offense is coming along now, especially that Ranger series, compared to, after those first, 3 series, people were like, this is, and including me, like, this is the same offense, they look like garbage, I can't watch more 2-0 ball games where we lose. I cannot do it anymore.
It's the point where you get pissed off at a crosswalk, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Luckily did not post that TikTok. Only sent it to the group chat where I was screaming while I was at a crosswalk because I'd stop for a crosswalk instead of heading home after Casey Mize, one hit the Mariners.
Just learn words. How far are you from the stadium?
I walk home
Yeah.
if I walk home, it's an hour, and that's if I need that much time to debrief and not be pissed off anymore. But it takes me 30 minutes to an hour.
Gotcha. That's cool.
But yeah.
Big fit guy, Andrew Slade.
Yep.
So now
Good way to
Yeah.
work off the beers that you get at the game. Good way to work it off.
Yeah, they don't fucking wear off half the time, though, I will say. Half the time I get to the crosswalks near my house, I'm still pissed off, still feeling it, and just ready to get pissed off how the Mariners can't hit a baseball.
Valid.
Well, we've covered how the teams have performed so far through the first few weeks of the season. Now time to get into our segments, starting with the Eric Wagaman update. It's not great.
Oh yeah.
He is
boy.
233 with 1 home run and 3 RBI. He's at a 661 OPS with a negative 0.1 WAR so far this season. And unfortunately, Matt Mervis might as well be left-handed Mark McGwire to start the season. So that might take away some playing opportunities from our boy.
Also, the 1 home run, we should say, it wasn't just a home run. It went to the damn Budweiser porch at Marlins Park. It was absolutely crushed.
He's got
For
power.
it. And he had a clutch RBI double that would have been a couple days ago. To where, again, Matt Mervis, red hot and everything like that, but trust me, it is the summer of Wagaman. He's going to come on and carry this Marlins team to being 70 wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you're if you're one of our 5 to 10 listeners that actually tune in for our long episodes, what was our deal before the season for him?
You asking me? Or-
Yeah, just somebody to answer. Obviously we all know it.
We will shotgun a beer for every for every home run that he has hit. So,
So our count is at 1.
count is at 1.
Yeah.
Yes. If he starts cranking them out, then we're gonna have to, shotgun some beers before the end of the season so that we don't shotgun 20 beers in one sitting. But we'll see how it goes. It's still gonna happen.
Straight.
Get on the show,
And
Eric.
if the Marlins DFA Eric Wagaman, we will not talk about him for the rest of the season. And I don't think anyone
Ever again.
And I don't think anyone will miss us talking about the Marlins.
Yeah, honestly.
Let's see. So what are we, about an 8th into the season?
You're
Does that
the
sound
math
about
guy.
right?
You're the finance guy.
I'm just thinking 160 divided by about 20 games. 8. So if he's got 1 home run, he's got 1 home run right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So by the end of the year, by statistical speaking, he'll have 8
No, but he's
or
gonna
less
turn it
or
on.
more.
He's gonna
I
turn
mean,
it
you know
on.
baseball. So
All right, so now moving on.
He'll have a 5 home run June. I will say that.
I'm thinking a 5 for 5 with 5 home run game even. You never know.
Jesus.
I say holy
I mean,
shit.
this is Eric Wagaman we're talking about.
That's fair.
Have some faith. All right, so now we'll move on quickly to a new segment we're trying out that we will maybe be more prepared for next time. But this one in this episode is specifically requested by Mr. Stokes. It's the Call the Number segment where we give bets that make you say, hey, that guy should probably call the gambling hotline number because what the hell is he doing?
Exactly. Not gambling advice. Covering our legal bases right here.
Nope.
if you're a sports book, we're looking for somebody to sponsor us.
Exactly.
I'm looking for someone to sponsor as well. Let's see. I'm looking through my history here. I'm looking.
If a beer company wants to sponsor us for the Eric Wagaman shotguns, they can do that too.
They should. Yeah.
Take it away, Stokes.
Let's see. I think my most generate. Let's take a look at some big parlays I've had that absolutely did not hit. We have a 14-legger. Everybody settle in for this one. Ryan Feltner over 2.5. Shohei over 2 hits. The Rockies to score at least 4. Mookie Betts to get on base twice. The Dodgers and Shohei to get 2 bases. Freddie Freeman to get 2 bases. Shohei to steal a base. Mickey fucking Moniak to get on base. He did, by the way. First at bat. Shohei to get a single. Shohei to hit a home run. Ryan Feltner under 15 outs. That hit. Total runs over 9.5 did not hit. I'm a fucking idiot. Let's see what else we've got here. Another 14-legger. This is the last one I'll bring up tonight. Royals at Yankees over 8.5 runs. Volpe 2 bases. Fried 6 strikeouts. Waka under 15.5 outs. The rest of this I'm too embarrassed to read. I haven't won recently. Bets have not been hitting. The parlays have not been cashing. We're in financial ruin. But the best thing about betting is the only ones that are the ones that hit. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to your date. You're waking up to your morning text of your degenerate bet slip.
I'm not going to say, my obviously I'm not going to give out where I work, but I do place my parlays during my first coffee break of the day. Oh.
Well, I will say, if I call the number parlay, it's only gonna be 2-legger. I'm not gonna go crazy. I like tomorrow on April 17th. I'm going the Yankees money line that is currently listed at plus 105, and give me Austin Wells to have a base hit.
Here's my locks for tomorrow on the Yankees game while we're on it. Yankee money line, give me a Judge home run, give me another Bellinger home run, give me the Will Warren over on strikeouts, give me Will Warren over on outs, and I'll take Jazz for a stolen base. Lock it in.
And there you have it, folks. $5 will pay $2 million on that
Yeah.
one.
Exactly.
And that's why
I'll never work another day in my life.
That's why this segment is called Call the Number, for things like that. I will just say, when Miles Michaelis pitches this week, take everything over except strikeouts, even if it's at like 1.5, probably just take the under.
Yeah. My call the number bet slip comes from opening day. And I've actually had decent luck on baseball so far this year for betting. I don't bet a ton on baseball just because I know how unpredictable it is. But I did have some good luck on opening day. I had a plus 1180 parlay. I had Aaron Judge to record 2+ total bases. In his last at-bat, he had a double. Kind of hit off of third base, and I was really fired up about that one. Also had Adley, Rutschman? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Yes.
To have 2+ total bases. That was at plus 125, so I think he had like 6 bases in that game. He had a home run or 2. Zach Wheeler, 6+ Ks, easy hit. Skeen, 7+ Ks, and he finished right at 7. And then I added Justin Steele, 3+ strikeouts, just for a little bit more. That was a minus 520 leg. Everything else had hit, and I asked for your guys' advice. I was like, should I just cash out now? Like, it was $10. I was like, I could cash out for 94, or I could write it out for an extra $30. Good thing I took your guys' advice. I cashed out, and I was happy walking away with my $94. So,
Well, there you have it. The Call
Hey,
Your Number
kids.
segment. Probably be
yeah, keep betting.
we'll be more prepared later, but yeah.
Keep betting. Keep the bets going. Do not stop betting, ever. Don't let them tell you different.
Always double down until you get it back.
Exactly. Do not give up. Keep going.
The Club 303 podcast is not liable for the bad decisions that you make.
Yes.
Get
Cover
that.
I'll
all
take the
bases.
rap. I am. I'm liable. I'll go down for it.
All right, there you have it.
That.
So
We need
now,
Agua Caliente to sponsor us for a casino.
Exactly.
now we will move
So, Palm
on
Springs.
to the patented Pack Your Bags segment. We can finally talk about some guys that are playing and just bad so far this year, rather than just guys who we think will be bad, like we did back in the preseason episodes. And we will start with Pat, who you've got a guy out there that was just signed by the Rangers that is supposed to be a big bat. And why don't you tell us how that's been going for him?
Yeah, man. As you said, they signed this guy to a 2-year, $37 million contract, and that is Jock Peterson of the Rangers. Like you kind of alluded, very surprised by his numbers so far this year. He's got 3 hits on 43 at-bats, which shapes out to be a .070 batting average. Just absolutely atrocious. 277 OPS and a negative .8 wins above replacement. Rangers right now are a 10-7 record, as we talked about. With the Wild West. They're atop of the AL. But if they keep winning games, I feel like they might realize, we don't even need to keep trying Jock Peterson out. Like, if things are going well, this guy's just kind of slowing us down. So that's my biggest reason of having him on Pack Your Bags. Although I'm not sure, they kind of brought him in to kind of replace a left-handed stick in Nathaniel Lowe that they traded. So, kind of interesting where the Rangers are at right now, and still surprised that they got Jock Peterson. It's just still weird to see him in a Rangers uniform.
I will say it just felt redundant when they brought Jake Berger and Jock Peterson in. I guess there's a platoon there if you want it to be, but it felt redundant. 2 guys that can either be the DH or play a bad first base that have pop but are, going to hit for not a great average. And Peterson, he's a proven Major League Baseball hitter for a long time now, but so I guess you got to give him some leeway. But a 3 for 43 start is one of the worst I've ever seen.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a really bad start. I do like Jock Peterson. I think he has. The track record shows, and I think he'll be okay. And I think it's partially you just gotta do like Jock Peterson. But yeah, it's been a brutal start. He has to hit because he provides no value anywhere else besides his bat, and the brutal start is just not a good sign. I don't mind. I'm a Mariners fan. While I like Jock Peterson, it would not mind me if he got cut, DFA, traded just somewhere else, and then figured it out.
Yeah, I wonder what. It's really early to tell. I wonder what the Rangers' record would be if he was off to like a hot start or even had his average season. I think it is. Looking at his career stats, he's a .240 career hitter and .805 OPS. So I'm curious to see what the Rangers would look like with a Jock Peterson who's caught his stride and is actually doing what we expect him to do.
Yeah, that could be the consistency that they're looking for. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Moving on, we'll stick in the AL West and move on to the father of the Pack Your Bags segment, Andrew Slade. Who you got?
I got Yair Diaz, catcher for the Astros. He was expected to very much take the... Honestly, for years now, I feel he's been wanting... Astro fans have wanted him to take the forefront of the catching job. When they had Martin Maldonado going out there and batting .094. But Yair Diaz was known for his bat and being able to hit the baseball, and he has almost tried to do his best Maldonado impersonation without the stellar defense of he is just batting like absolute garbage right now. He is currently batting .130, which I think is actually up from when I first put this down as my Pack Your Bags. I watched him in the Mariners series up here. He very much does not look competent at the plate right now. He had a double today against the Cardinals, but he also went 1 for 4 in that game. He's getting outplayed by Victor Caratini, who is his backup catcher, who I think if he does not figure it out, Caratini's probably going to be starting a lot more games than Yair Diaz. Again, it's early on, but the fact that you have a negative .4 WAR already at this point in the season as a catcher, it just shows that I think he's struggling. and especially when you got like Caratini behind right behind you, who I think shows like consistency and competence. Yeah, I think Diaz is in a bad spot right now.
Shout out Victor Caratini, NL Central legend, Cub and Brewer. He's been doing it a long time now.
Yeah.
Long time backup catcher in the major leagues. Give him a shot. Fuck it.
I was going to say, like, he's ready to steal anybody's job, and Diaz is the perfect candidate right now.
Yeah.
Moving on to the pitchers in the Pack Your Bags segment. I'll start. Me and Stokes each have a pitcher on our own team, spoiler, that we think should go to hell. And mine is Miles Michaelis, who actually has had a couple of at least like average starts, like okay starts. He had that one real bad one in Boston, but like that's what's going to happen. That's what we said was going to happen. That's what we've known was going to happen. He's got a 9 ERA through 3 starts. He has pitched, let me see. He has pitched 13 innings in 3 starts for a guy that is known for being an innings eater. Only 13 innings. 10 strikeouts is honestly probably, that's like a high rate for him because he doesn't have swing and miss stuff. He's making so much money. Michael McGreevy's still in AAA instead of being on the Major League roster, being given a shot. I'm over it, dude. Like, I'm over it. The Cardinals just got to eat the money and tell them to fuck off.
It's bad. Yeah, it's just, Machine said it's bad. It's Miles Michaelis, bump day is very much almost it's almost like the Cardinals are running out the pump formation on a whole entire baseball game. When they throw him out there, it is just a white flag of a pitcher right now, sadly.
And he's making like $18 million a year or something crazy like that.
I was going to say, it's like we've seen the same thing, at least in the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, with this inconsistency with like, I don't know, at least he's got a good mustache.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's like, it's nothing personal. It's just strictly the baseball side of it. Like, he's like, he's like really funny. He's cool to have around. Like, he always does great in the interviews and things like that. And he was a good Cardinal. I mean, he's been with the organization for a long time now. 7 years, I think. And for the first 4 or 5, he was a pretty good pitcher. I mean, he was an all-star at least one of the years, if not 2. But he's old now. His stuff is not there like what it used to be. He's not getting swing and miss anymore. And he just it doesn't work.
It's nothing to discredit what he's done in the past, and he's been a good pitcher, really good pitchers for the Cardinals in past, like I said. Off the field, like you said, he's a good guy, and I mean, I know I'm a Cubs fan, but I've always been drawn to him. At least when he was in his prime, I was like, man, he's a good guy, and he always tears up the Cubs. But now, and like especially last year, and kind of looking for the Cubs to face him this year. Hopefully, PCA remains his daddy. So we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully, he's DFA'd by then.
Yeah, there's a world where that. I mean, it's shaping out to where there's a world where that might be a realistic possibility.
All right, what say you, Stokes? Who's your Pack Your Bags guy?
All right, this episode I'm going with the biggest disgracement to the Yankees organization I've seen in quite a while. That is 2025 Carlos Rodon. Let's take a look at some stats here, why don't we? This season already at a 5.48 ERA, 1-3 on the season through 23 innings, 28 strikeouts, 4 games. So it's bad. And not to mention, you got his wife on Twitter bitching about umpires. Umpires aren't the problem for Carlos Rodon right now. The biggest issue for Carlos Rodon is throwing the baseball. He seems to be having a really tough time doing that and it not going 7 million feet off the bat of whoever is at the plate, whether it be Eugenio Suarez or not. He sucks. The this earlier. There is I'd say 3 pitchers on the Yankees, 4 pitchers on the Yankees organization that I trust right now. That's Docker, Max Fried, Will Warren, Tim Hill, Luke Weaver. That's it. Those are the only 4 arms that can come out of the bullpen or out of the dugout, and I feel okay. If anybody else goes out there, I have no idea what the hell is about to happen. It's such a roller coaster up and down with the rest of the pitching staff, and Rodon is so bad this year. He's looked good. I would say 4 innings maybe. That's it. That's all we've gotten that's been decent out of Rodon so far this year, and everything else has just been piss poor shit. So I'm just over it, and I really need Schmidt. He looked fine tonight from what I saw. He fucked my parlay, but that's whatever. Will Warren looks fine. When Luis Gil comes back, maybe Rodon will figure it out and feel a little pressured. Thankfully, Stroman's hurt, so I don't have to worry about him anymore. Hope he's gone for a while. But yeah, no, Rodon is... again, another Yankee causing me to lose sleep at night, but this time it's Carlos Rodon. Didn't really think that'd be the case. It is what it is.
It was just a matter of time before we got a Stokes rant about a Yankees player, and I'm so glad it happened.
You knew it was going to happen in the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, we just get a quarter, put it in Stokes when you have a Yankee as the Pack Your Bags watch. But I mean, Carlos Rodon, when you look at his stats, it doesn't look as bad as Stokes is making it sound. But it might be different.
He is making it look as bad as I'm making it sound. The stats may not tell the whole story, but he certainly tells the rest.
I mean, compared to Machine's Miles Michaelis, his ERA is 9 right now. Rodon's ERA is 5.48 with a 1-3 record. But I mean, obviously not what you want from your starting pitcher, especially early in the season.
Yeah, and I think the point really is that he was brought in to be an ace. He started on opening day. They paid him a lot of money. And the thing with Rodon, and it's like this has been his thing since college, was that usually he's really good in the beginning of the season, and then he'll fall off at the end of the season because his fastball doesn't hold up. So he's really supposed to be an early season guy. He's supposed to get off to a hot start. And the fact that he hasn't is certainly concerning, considering we already know that he's got a track record of falling off from wherever he is at the beginning of the season.
Right. So and then that just makes you wonder what's to come, towards the middle and towards the end of the season, like you said.
Let's see. I will say, Rodon is just things just seem to unravel for him in starts. If things don't go, if an inning gets dirty, he is not one of these pitchers. It seems like that's gonna find a way out of it. He's very much gotten stuck in these bad innings, from what I've seen. When you look at his percentiles and everything like that, everything looks it's not great, but it's not bad. It's not like Miles Michaelis. You look on there, it's 2 things are red. With Rodon, again, there's positives. Expected batting average is pretty good, but it's the moments where he has just completely floundered and just collapsed that just makes it seem so much worse. And that's why I understand why Stokes is just can't deal with Rodon right now.
Well, these episodes in season, we do hope will be a little bit quicker than usual. We're trying to. This is the first one. We're trying to get it streamlined, but we are just about done. Now we'll wrap up with some positivity after a little bit of negative there, and we will go to the Stay Hot segment, and we'll go in reverse order this time because I've decided that to be the case, and I want to get all this Yankee talk out of the fucking way. Shocker, Mr. Stokes picked a Yankee for his Pack Your Bags and another Yankee for his Stay Hot.
Yeah, let's give it up for the judge a little bit. Fucking all rise, man. This guy has hit cover off the ball so far this season, off to his best start of any season he's had so far. So we've got 6 home runs already, .391, 2 stolen bases, man. I'll take it. he looks phenomenal. I'm really pleased with the way Judge has come out swinging the bat. Opening day was it just made me cry. Like, I was so overwhelmed with how happy I was with the way Judge was performing. I said it in the episode we did a couple weeks ago that he's my pick for the AL MVP. He is absolutely living up to that right now. Looks phenomenal. I'm glad that he was able to shake off what happened in October and really hitting the bed pretty much every game he was on the field in the month of October. But things are looking good. Things are looking up. He's swinging the bat well, seeing some good pitches. So here's to it, man. Let's go Yankees.
I'll touch on Aaron Judge real quick. Obviously, he has been announced the captain of Team USA in this next year's World Baseball Classic. Again, hopefully when the lights turn on, they're at their brightest, he actually shows up this time. And compared to, like Austin said, didn't show up in the playoffs. Again, it is true Aaron Judge is running away right now through this, again, small sample size, but he is currently easily, I think last time I checked, I think he's probably like minus like 200, I think, for AL MVP right now. And he deserves that. But it is very much, it's like when things, when the Yankees need him late in the season, will he actually show up and will he perform, or is he going to kind of not show up? And there is no Juan Soto this time. There's no Juan Soto to actually show up and perform if he does not.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say about Juan Soto. Like, with him being gone, I feel like everybody's looking to Aaron Judge to pick up the slack, and he's done nothing but that. And especially after the way the postseason ended up for him, I think all of us, except for Stokes in the offseason, were a little bit weary on Aaron Judge. However, like I said, he's proved us wrong. He's proved Austin right. And he's a great hitter all around, I'd say. And I've always been a fan of him. I don't know, something about him. He's just electric, just an absolute unit on the baseball field. Fun to watch. Aaron Judge, definitely a candidate for AL MVP.
At risk of starting a war, I'm going to steal something. I'll credit it to Andrew. He told me this earlier today, and I'm going to steal it and I'm going to say it. That was a little twist on it, I guess. But, the Yankees, they've got their playoff nicknames. They've got Mr. October for Reggie Jackson, Mr. November for Derek Jeter. Is Aaron Judge just Mr. April/May?
I think Aaron Judge.
Streets are saying that.
I'm scared Aaron Judge is going to go down the Don Mattingly route of the greatest Yankee to never win a ring, and that really just makes my skin crawl to hear those words leave my mouth. Because if that's the case, he will be. It really won't be close, but maybe he'll get a nickname. Fuck it. I don't know. I'm gonna go on for a long time if I don't stop now.
All right.
That's fair.
We will move on in the stay hot. Had to get a little shot there on the Yankees. Sorry about that. Not really. We'll move on though. And my stay hot player is Jack Leiter. Now, peek behind the curtain. We were going to record last week. Got pushed back a little bit. Jack Leiter is currently on the IL, but he is likely to make a rehab start in AAA. He was either going to do it tonight or tomorrow, so he'll be back soon. But through his first 2 games, he was really solid, and he was a question mark coming in. I mean, this guy's a former number 1 overall pick, right? And has never really performed in the minors. He's actually kind of been bad at every level of the minors, but they just keep promoting him because he's supposed to be the top pitching prospect. And this year they were finally like, fuck it, you're starting, dude. You're in the rotation. And through his first 2 starts, he's 2-0 with an 0.9 ERA, 0.7 whip. I mean, he's been really sharp through his first 2, and hopefully he can stay on that path when he comes back from the IL.
Well, I was going to say, it's been, coming out of Vanderbilt, he was, I don't remember if he was first overall. He's 1 or 2 in his draft. But when you look at his Baseball Savant page, it's a lot of red. he's still he doesn't get a ton of chase, even though he has good stuff. His fastball velo is very good right now, and his stuff is playing. But it'll be interesting to see again, like in a larger sample size, especially when like now that he's kind of had a setback in midseason. Like, how does he come back? Because it's like Leiter's still a young guy with not a ton of innings, like major league innings under his belt. Like, how will he come back from this and like kind of rebound after a good start? But we'll see.
Yeah, Jack Leiter's just got electric stuff. I don't have a ton of notes on him. I think that it's a great candidate for Stay Hot Watch. Props to you, Machine. He's just fun to watch. I mean, and on note to his name, Jack Leiter, I just think he's a guy that lights it up every single time. He's always lighting up that radar gun.
Okay, so moving on to another guy that's got a member of his favorite team in his Stay Hot segment. Up to the guy in the top right corner there, Andrew Slade.
So my Stay Hot is Kyle Raleigh, who obviously signed a extension to stay with the Mariners before going into the season. He got off to a slow start in the first couple series, but thanks to Austin Stokes and those cheating Yankees up there with their torpedo bats, they have found their way to Seattle. And since Kyle Raleigh got his hand on that torpedo bat, I don't think he had a home run, to my knowledge, before he had that torpedo bat. And he is now, to my knowledge, at this moment in time, second place in home runs in Major League Baseball. In a week stretch, pretty much. After he got his hands on a torpedo bat. He cannot stop hitting. He had 2 home runs today, one from each side of the plate, just in case you you thought it was just a fluke.
It's so impressive, yeah.
Yeah, he's always kind of been like this, where he gets just red hot at times and will just crush the baseball. But again, he's red hot. He's a platinum glover. He's playing elite defense per usual, and now he's crushing the baseball again because he has a baseball bat that apparently, from what he is doing with it, looks like a cheat code.
Yeah, I mean, in that sweep against the Rangers, he homered in all 3 games. So, I mean, he's just contributing on all levels offensively, and I think Mariners are going to keep winning games. I think good things are happening when Cal Raleigh has the torpedo bat.
The winning formula for the Mariners truly is, like, if Julio and Cal are hot, the Mariners are hot. That's all it takes.
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of people, a couple of years ago, people were thinking that Julio was kind of going to be the face of the franchise. And right now, Cal Raleigh's shaping up to be the face of the franchise, which I think it's really cool.
Or the ass of the franchise.
And
that's not crazy to say that.
I don't know if it's a tip of the cap to the torpedo bats or to Slater for meeting him, but one of those two things is factoring into a great offensive season for Cal Raleigh.
And streets are saying that handshake changed the trajectory of this franchise.
It could be the ripple effect. I'm kind of a big believer in that.
I will
exactly.
Say, I'm not sure the streets have ever been wrong. So
exactly,
that's true.
But no, like again, Cal Raleigh, and he's always been streaky at times, and he'll have these things where he just fucking cannot be stopped for a 2-week stretch. And listen, we already talked, like, torpedo bats probably a placebo. It's mainly just Cal Raleigh's hitting the ball well. Is the bat helping? Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, just stay hot, Cal Raleigh. And when I say we, the Mariners, might just ride this thing to a damn division win that I have not seen, a long, long time.
I am now realizing I am the only guy that didn't pick a member of his favorite team for the Stay Hot, so I will quickly give a shout out to Brendan Donovan, leads the league, or leads all of baseball right now in hits and batting average. Shout out to him. But Pat, you've got an MVP candidate for your favorite team as your Stay Hot player for episode 1 of the in-season podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you wanted to go in reverse order just to get the Yankees out of the way, but unfortunately you have to finish hearing about a Cubs player. So my Stay Hot watch, I kind of alluded to it earlier, is Kyle Tucker of the Chicago Cubs. And he's off to an absolutely heater of a season. A 301 batting average, already 5 home runs on the year, 988 OPS, and a 1.2 wins above replacement, which is currently the 8th in the MLB. Just the way he's been contributing in all these games, it's so fun to watch and so fun to finally have Cubs playing consistent winning baseball. And like I said earlier, Cubs are 12-9 atop of the NL Central. And my biggest thing right now with the Cubs is that they absolutely need to re-sign Kyle Tucker because they've only got him on a 1-year contract. Make him a face of the franchise. The Ricketts cannot be cheap here as they have been in past years.
Bronx.
Otherwise, he's going to end up in the Bronx or somewhere else, and there will be a lot of Cubby blue tears shed for Party Pat.
Here's to
Plus,
hoping.
Kyle Tucker's red hot. As someone who had to deal with him in the division for so long, he is just a quality hitter. He is it's almost because he's like awkward out here, like awkward out there in the field. That the way he's like so tall and lengthy that like people don't realize he's also a elite defender at the same time. Kyle Tucker's really good, and I'm not going to dispute that. We'll see if the Cubs re-sign him. And I respect Pat for, again, showing love to the MVP candidate in the NL Central instead of what will probably be a Stay Hot candidate next week when PCA goes off
Can we
again.
not do
Yeah.
this?
I knew it.
Hey,
I was this
We're running
close to
overtime already.
erasing Kyle Tucker and going PCA.
Well, I was going to say, I know Pat wanted to do it, but he was trying to be, he's trying to be caring to Machine and not talk about, but I'm going to talk about how PCA, I'm doing extra Stay Hot. Fuck it, no one cares.
We're running out of time, folks.
We're doing extra Stay Hot. PCA crushing the baseball. Does not give a shit what Machine has to say
OPS
about his hair or whatever. PCA is taking the damn division over with Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker
PCA
is
conversation.
You guys do realize I have power to edit
Rage
these
bait.
videos. I'm the one who edits these. I can cut this out if I want.
It's all rage.
I don't give a
Machine went on the record that the streets are never wrong, and the streets have been telling me nonstop that the NL MVP race is between Kyle Tucker and PCA. That's what the streets are saying.
That's not the streets. That's something else up there in Seattle.
Reporters, don't do this.
Oh my
If you know,
god.
you know.
If you know, you know.
Hey, journalists, don't do this.
Journalists, that's what it was. Anyways, I mean, to your point about PCA, I think he's just got a I don't give a fuck attitude, and I think it's rubbing off on the
I call that
Cubs.
a piss poor attitude.
I mean, I think
didn't raise him right.
playing loose in baseball, as you know, it's so easy to get in your head and get in a slump, but when you're just saying F it and having fun, it rubs off on other players. And so if PCA is having fun, I feel like the rest of the team's having fun. And when you're having fun in baseball, usually your record reflects that. So
It's early. We will see. I'm a Hall
it
of
is.
Fame
Yeah,
hater.
yeah.
I'm dedicated to this craft. Anything else for the good of the order?
I mean, I do respect
Zach, you may
you are
be
dedicated.
the greatest hater I've ever met.
I know, right?
Yeah. Streets are saying that as well.
I take pride in it. It's getting difficult, though. It's 3-on-1. Fighting for my life. Stay tuned. More of these coming. Hopefully get this streamlined as we get the more uniform episodes coming for the in-season. But it's going to be a nice ride, a long, fun ride. Stick with us. Hop on the bandwagon now. It's only going up from here.
Why the W, baby?
We will see you next
Go
time.
Yanks.
Of the Podcast.
Cheers.